So, the good old electric windows and central locking kit off the front driver's side door of the HJ61. Now, for whatever reason, I never really get it to, I mean, it would unlock fine, but the door just wouldn't lock. So I pulled it apart, played with it. When I say pulled it apart, took it out, blew it with a compressor, blah, blah, blah. Never actually took the switch apart. So took the switch apart, and there's obviously contacts and little bridges with these little harries that obviously direct the current. Direct the little bridge to push down or depress either side of the switch to either lock it or unlock it. And it literally sits inside a little housing like so. So I took it apart, which was quite easy with one of those small screwdrivers. There's 2 screws that actually hold it into the back of the assembly, and lifted it out. As I lifted it out, obviously fell apart because there's nothing really holding it in. But obviously, as I said, the bridge sits in the middle there, and then as it makes contact, it either locks or unlocks the switch. Opens or closes the switch, I should say. So when I pulled it apart, and you can probably just make it out, there's obviously a shiny a shiny connector and a dull connector. The dull connector, like, they'd all arced out, so they were black, they were covered in dust. I've cleaned it up as best I could. I'll just scratch at it a little bit more just to get me some better contacts. And then once I've done that, I'll put it back together. So the reason I can hear the solenoid working on the unlock, and obviously hear it unlock the doors when the doors are locked. But the locking mechanism it worked intermittently. So it's a switching problem. It's not a power problem. Again, when you're using a multimeter, and I'll show you what to do, and you can actually use switching wires to actually jump from the wire type. So from the positive, so once you bridge the connections, it'll either lock or unlock the door. So it's a switch. So I've taken the switch apart. The main components of the switch, obviously, is the switch body. I'm making these terms up, but that part, the little bracket that locks it into the door, the little thing that sits over the top of the bracket. There's the toggle as well. So as I put it back together, the steps to take it apart are the opposite of putting it back together. So anyway, there's one other little thing. There's a little rubber grommet. I don't know what you call it, but a little rubber thing. And I'll take it out just so you can see it. That sits just over the plastic. Obviously, some sort of dust seal. It just pushes over. You really can't muck it up because it only goes one way. And yeah, but happy days. So it's in position. The challenge is, because the little contacts actually pull out, they're spring loaded. The challenge is getting everything together without tipping it out, because it literally just sits in there. So I put in the little, I'm calling them bridges. I don't know what they're called, the actual switching component. Put the switch in. Oh, actually, before I do that, the single bracket sits on the wire side. Right. So importantly, I just had to pause it because I had the switch in upside down. So there is a right way and a wrong way to fit the switch. Obviously it needs to go like that. If you fit it upside down, it doesn't actually make the click noise. So you can probably make it out. So the lock, which is the top, needs to be the grippy dimpled half of the switches to the top. So everything's clean, everything's put back together. Let's put the little cover on. I'll just protect it. I'll just put the cabling back in under the cable stay. This one's a bit tight. Cool. Now, game on. So definitely switching. Let's go plug it back into the door and see how we go. Now, apologies for the light, but obviously in the garage. The bigger loom is for the in this case it's for the electric windows and window lock. The smaller one is for the central locking. So we'll just get it in the right way. Right, for those that can't see. Lock, unlock, lock, unlock. So, as I said, the challenge that I was facing was that the doors would unlock, they wouldn't lock. Obviously, this isn't a permanent solution, mind you. So from everything I can see online, this will happen again. So there's some sort of relay solution that I saw on one of the chat hubs and a few other bits and pieces like that. But for the sake of 5 or 10 minutes, and I think for the sake of 5 or 10 minutes, and depending on how long it lasts for, this might not be a bad outcome, but at least now I can lock and unlock the doors. So I'll probably just comment on the link periodically if it is still working, and again, if we can get 12 months out of it, I'll pull it apart in 12 months and see how much soot and corrosion again is actually, sorry, no corrosion, but how much soot is actually in the switch. So there we go, my central locking is now fixed. Cool.